Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. Don't worry, I'm not going to be doing a video about plants. Believe me, I would be the last person to do a video about plants. My first video back after my surgery, I showed y'all some things that people had sent me, and one of them was this beautiful ceramic planter that my friend Joe sent me as sort of a get well gift. And I mentioned how I was going to have to get some plants to put in it and put it in here in my beading room. And the very next day, these came. And I know she didn't do it because she heard me say that in the video, because it was the very next day and I hadn't even posted the video yet. I think she meant to send these with the planter and something got mixed up in the order or something. These are some really cool succulent plants. I've never had succulents before, but I looked it up and it looks like they're really easy to care for, which is a good thing because I've never had a green thumb. But this is really cool and really nice of her. It was totally unnecessary to send me anything, but I appreciate it so much. And I already thanked her in an email, but I wanted to show y'all these in a video because they're just so nice. And I'm just so appreciative of them. So hold on and let me get the stuff out that I'm going to be making today, and I'll be back. Okay, this is what I'm going to be using for what I'm going to be making today. And this started out as the most simple single strand necklace you could possibly imagine. Probably wouldn't have taken 20 minutes to put it together. And then, as I often do, I kept thinking, well, I could add this and I could use this and I could turn it into a double strand necklace and I could put some beads along the back. And now it's turned into a not so simple necklace and pair of earrings. I mean, it's not going to be hard by any means, but it's going to be a little bit more involved than what I had originally planned on it being. I've using beads from a few different sources, mostly the Bargain Bead Box and Bead Box Bargains. So in case you're not familiar, Bargain Bead Box is a monthly subscription of beads and findings. It's $19.49 a month, and that includes shipping in the United States. They have beautiful beads and findings. It's always curated around a different theme each month. And if you're a subscriber to the Bargain Bead Box, you get a 30% off coupon to use in their sister store, Bead Box Bargains. And you can use it as many times as you want to during the month, and they already have great prices. I have a coupon code. It's Teresa2, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below. It'll save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. So in here I have some beads from the most recent Bargain Bead Box, the Summer Sunrise collection. They're the 8x7mm crystal faceted crackled lantern beads with an amethyst coating. And here I have some beads that I got from Bead Box Bargains quite a while ago. They're 6x4mm crystal faceted rondelle beads. Lavender steel blue luster is the color. These two beads came from the May 2023 Sam's Bead Box. They're check glass art deco oval beads, etched crystal purple 12x16.5mm. And this pendant here is from, I believe it was the February Bargain Bead Box, the Violet Glade collection. It's a 21x13.5mm faceted amethyst and brass teardrop pendant. There were two of them. They would have made perfect little earrings, but mine didn't really match very well. It's double-sided, and I've already put it on a little bail here with a jump ring. So that's what I'm going to be using for my focal. In here I've got some findings. I've got a lobster clasp, a couple of pieces of chain, and I'm not even sure I'm going to need any chain because this might turn out to be so long that I don't even need any chain. I've got a piece of chain in there for this to use as an extender, a ball head pin, and one of the little rondelle beads I'm going to hang off the extender chain as a dangle. I've got some jump rings, and I have 8 2x2 crimp tubes and 8 wire guardians. I told y'all this got a little bit more involved than I started out. So if you're going to watch me do this, you might want to grab a snack or a sandwich or some popcorn or something, because this is going to take a minute. It's not going to be hard at all, but it's just going to take a minute. I'm using my size 11 Miyuki galvanized silver seed beads, 11-0. Galvanized silver seed beads as spacers. I've got some 22 gauge, 4 pieces of 22 gauge German style wire that I'm going to use. This is what I'm going to use for my earrings. It's a couple of the oval beads from Sam's box, a couple of the crackled lantern beads from the most recent Bargain Bead Box, 4 of the little rondelle beads, a few of my 11-0 seed beads, and a couple of head pins, and a couple of ear wires. 2 of these pieces of German style wire are going to be for the earrings. I've got my soft flex beading wire in fine. Of course, you can use whatever beading wire you have. I've got my bead stoppers. I've got my chain nose pliers, my tweezer pliers, my round nose pliers. Got both pairs of my bent chain nose pliers. Got both pairs of my crimping pliers. I use the Xeron ones for crimping, and I use these, the part at the end, the half circles on each side, to tuck in the burrs when I cut off wire. Got both pairs of my cutters. These are, I use one for bead stringing wire and one to cut head pins and eye pins and craft wire. And I have my little New Orleans shot glass to put my wires in when I cut them off. And I think that's everything. I'll try to leave links in the description box below for as many things as I can find links for. So hold on, I'll pour some of my beads out and I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to start out by making these, I'm going to turn these into links. So, take a piece of my German style wire here, and my pliers. I'm going to bend the wire over the pliers at a 90-degree angle. Take my round nose pliers and put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. I'm going to bend the wire back until it hits the tool. I'm going to rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take the shorter piece of wire up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the wire. Like that. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Take this down until it's at a right angle to this wire. I'm going to wrap it around, wrap the short piece of wire around the long piece of wire about 3 times. Now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. I'm going to put one of my oval beads on here. Take my pliers. I go to the very tip of the pliers. Bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle. Put the round nose pliers in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. I bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on tight. Take this part up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. I'll cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Pull this part down. I'll take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start to wrap. Make sure to get that first wrap good and tight. Wrap till there's no more room to wrap. And if your loops are not straight with each other, and mine are almost never straight with each other, just take both pairs of pliers and straighten them up. Now I'm going to take my cutters and cut off my extra wire. I think I went around one too many times with that. Can't get it cut off. Pull it back a little. There we go. I'm going to take my crimping pliers and go in the end there with the little half circles on each side and tuck in my burr that's that left where I cut my wire off. Now I'm going to do this other one just like that, and I'm just going to do it off camera because I'm afraid this video is going to be really long. So hold on. Okay, now I'm going to string up my longest strand, and I've started out, I've got 5 seed beads and 6 of my little rondelles with a seed bead between each one. Now I'm going to do a seed bead, and one of my lantern beads, a seed bead, and 3 of my rondelle beads with seed beads between each one. And then I'm going to do a seed bead after that. And then I'm going to do a lantern bead. And a seed bead. Well, I don't know where that one went. Another lantern bead, a seed bead, another lantern bead, a seed bead, rondelle, seed bead, rondelle, seed bead, rondelle, now I'm going to do 3 seed beads, I'm going to put my pendant on. And I'm going to let that pendant fall over top of those 3 seed beads there. Now I'm going to do a rondelle, seed bead, rondelle, seed bead, rondelle, seed bead, lantern bead, seed bead, lantern bead, seed bead, lantern bead, seed bead, rondelle, seed bead, rondelle, seed bead, rondelle, seed bead, lantern bead, seed bead, rondelle, seed bead. Now I'm going to do 5 more rondelles with seed beads between, and then I'm going to end with 5 seed beads, so it'll match this side here, and then I'll be back and I'll crimp it. So hold on. Okay, this is what I've got now. So now I'm going to crimp. So I've got my crimp bead here. Put it on here. Put on my wire guardian. Go down the other channel of my wire guardian. Back down my crimp tube. Make sure my wires are not crossed and hold my wire apart. Crimp in my little wire guardian, tuck in my little wire guardian here a little bit. I'll try to hold my wires apart. I'm going to go into the part of the crimping pliers with that tooth. I'm going to lay the tooth on top of my crimp tube. I'm going to squeeze. That puts each wire in its own little channel there. Now I'm going to go into there's 3 circular parts there. I'm going to go into the middle part because that's the one for the 2x2 crimp tubes. And I'm going to lay my crimp in there. Squeeze. And I'm going to go down to the next one. Squeeze again to tighten it up. I'm going to tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. Now I'm going to push all this down and cut my wire off my spool. Take my other crimp tube, put it on here, my other wire guardian, go down the other channel of my wire guardian, back through my crimp tube, my wire through, make sure my wires are not crossed, and I always try to go through a bead on this side to get my hands out of the way. I don't know if I can get this wire back through these little 11 O's or not. Probably I should be able to get it through at least one of them. I don't think it's going to. It's wanting to go through there, but it's just not going to go all the way through. I'll just have to not do that this time. I'm going to hold on to my wire guardian and pull my wire through. I want to make sure there's no slack in my piece, but I don't want it to be too tight either. I'll try to, I don't know, I think my wires might have got crossed, I don't know. I'm going to take my crimping pliers again and go in the part with the tooth. Lay the tooth on top of my crimp tube. Squeeze. Now I'm going to go into that middle part again. squeeze, then go down to the next one, squeeze some more, tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. So that's going to be my longest strand. So hold on and I'll get my beads together and string up my inner strand. So hold on. Okay, now I'm going to string up my inner strand, and I'm starting with 5 11-ohs and then 4 rondelles with an 11-oh between each one. And now I'm going to do an 11-oh, a lantern bead, an 11-oh, lantern bead, 11-oh, just one, rondelle, $11, rondelle, $11, rondelle, 11-oh, lantern bead, 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 11-oh, rondelle, 11-oh, rondelle, 11-oh, rondelle, 11-oh, lantern bead, 11-oh, lantern bead, 11-oh, rondelle, 11-oh, rondelle, 11-oh, rondelle, 11-oh, rondelle, now I'm going to do 5 11-ohs. 2, 3, 5. Okay. So that's going to be my inner strand. So I'm going to crimp this one off camera and then I'll be back. Okay, I've got my inner strand crimped here. Like that. That's what I got for that. I can't hold it. It's going to go on the inside here. And I'm going to put my little links I made here. And then I strung up a little tiny section of 7 of my rondelles with seed beads between. I didn't figure y'all needed to watch me string 7 rondelles with seed beads between, so I just went ahead and did that and crimped them. And I'm going to put those on either side here at the top like that. So now I've got some little jump rings here. I think these are about a 5mm jump ring. And I'm going to put on my outer strand and thread it onto my link that I made. And close my jump ring up really well. Get this my inner strand out of the way before I get them mixed up. Now I'm going to take another one. Do the same thing on this side. Close my jump ring back. And now I'm going to take my inner strand here, take another jump ring, thread on my inner strand, put it on my little link here, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Drop my strand off my jump ring. That's what I got now. Now I'm going to take another jump ring. Thread this side of my link on. And one of my little tiny sections. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. With my other little tiny strand that I made. Okay, that's what I got now. So now I've got a couple of pieces of chain here. They're about 3 inches each. I'm going to take another jump ring, thread this end of my little tiny strand on. and my chain. These little jump rings are really, really thick. I'd end up mangling this one. Another go. There it goes. And I'm just going to do the same thing on this other side. Okay. Now I'm going to take a 6mm jump ring that I believe I can handle a little bit better than those little ones. I'm going to open it up and put this into my chain on. And my lobster clasp. There I go, trying to use my left hand again. And I know better. Okay, now, close this one back up well. Now I've got an 8mm jump ring. And about 1.5 inches of extender chain here. I'm going to open that up. Okay. So that's what I've got. So hold on, let me get my head pin and my little bead to make a dangle with. I'll be back. Okay, I've got a ball head pin here and one of my little rondelles. Actually, my last little rondelle I've got. Worked out pretty well that I had one stray rondelle left. I'll put it on my head pin. Take my pliers, go to the tip of the pliers, bend over the tool at a 90-degree angle, take my round nose pliers and put them in the crook of the bend, round nose pliers facing me, bend the wire back until it hits the bead, rotate the pliers till they're facing the table, hold on tight, take this part up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool, cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers, take this down till it's at a right angle here. I'm going to take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and I'm going to start to wrap. Get that first wrap good and tight. And then just wrap till there's no more room to wrap. Take my cutters, cut off my extra wire. Take my crimping pliers, tuck in my little burr that's left where I cut off the wire. And I know some of y'all are out there saying, now you forgot to wire wrap it to the extender chain, which I do forget all the time, but I meant to this time because the links on the end of this extender chain open really easy. So I'm just going to open it and put my dangle on. But when I mean to wire wrap it directly to the chain, I forget all the time and end up having to get a little jump ring to put it on there. Okay, so that's what I've got. Now I'm going to get my stuff together and make a little pair of earrings, so hold on, I'll be back. Okay, now I'm going to make a little earring. I've got a head pin here, and I'm going to put my little oval bead on here. And I'm just going to make a simple loop here. I'm going to take my pliers. I'm going to go a little bit above the bead so that I don't crack the bead. I'm going to bend at a 90-degree angle. I'm going to take my cutters and cut off and leave about 1/4 of an inch of the pin. I'm going to take my round nose pliers, go to the very tip here, make sure there's no wire sticking out over here, and start to roll back my loop. Make sure to get it closed up really well. Now I'm going to take a piece of my 22 gauge wire. I'm going to go down about 1.5 inches. Bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle over the tool. Take my round nose pliers, put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back till it hits the tool. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take the shorter piece of wire up and under here till it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the wire. Take my bent chain nose pliers, hold on to my loop, pull this down till it's at a right angle here. Wrap the shorter wire around the longer wire about 3 times. I'm going to cut off my extra wire. I'm going to put on one of my little rondelle beads, an 11/0, one of my crackled, what were they called? Lantern beads? Yeah, lantern beads. Another 11/0. And another rondelle. Now I'm going to straighten my loop up down here. Take my pliers and go to the very tip of the pliers. Bend over at a 90-degree angle. My round nose pliers and put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the beads. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on tight. Take this part up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the beads. Take my bent chain nose pliers. hold on to my loop, pull this wire down till it's at a right angle. Take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers, start to wrap. Get the first wrap good and tight, and then just keep wrapping till there's no more room to wrap. I take my cutters, cut off my extra wire. Take my crimping pliers and tuck in my little burr that's left where I cut off the wire. I'm gonna open my loop on my little oval bead here. Thread on this. Close my loop back. Make sure it's closed really well. We don't want that link sneaking out of there. I think my little oval bead is going to flip around some. I thought it was. It probably didn't particularly matter how I put this on here, but let's see what happens here. I'm going to open my ear wire. Hang on my little earring. Close my ear wire back. Yeah, that's going to hang okay. So there's my little earring. So hold on, I'll make the other one off camera and then I'll be back. Okay, there's my necklace all done. Using some of the beads from the most recent Bargain Bead Box, the Summer Sunrise collection, and some beads that I had from Bead Box Bargains, and a few beads from Sam's May 2023 bead box, and the little pendant from the Violet Glade collection, which I think might have been the February box. Like I said, if you're not subscribed to the Bargain Bead Box and you decide you want to be, that coupon code will save you $2 off your first box. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos, liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, hope y'all have a great day. Take care.